Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the quarantine edition of the We Can't Wrestle live show. And as you can see, your hosts are in remote locations, practicing social distancing, and
kind of like WrestleMania is going to be.
Yeah, socially WrestleMania 14 was WrestleMania X-rated. This is WrestleMania socially distanced. That's what it's going to be called. But I want to welcome Chris and Kyle out there. Hello, gentlemen.
Howdy.
I don't know. Do we have a lot to talk about? We have a bit to talk about. We have an hour's worth at least.
We have one show really to talk about. That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. I want to start off the show by saying I am broadcasting the show tonight to the regular Facebook page as well as a teaser for those that do not normally get to see the show on YouTube or in our Facebook group. Subscribe to YouTube, the YouTube channel, join the Facebook group. As a matter of fact, after this in the Facebook group, I'm probably going to be giving away free shit, which we do around here as well. And don't forget to listen to the actual We Can't Wrestle podcast, this week's edition, a review of WrestleMania 7 that I thought was really good. And also, Aaron wanted me to mention the actual podcast with lasers on its freaking head.
You hear that? We're the fucking B team now.
All right.
Then also, Aaron wanted me to pitch to you. I don't know if you guys have noticed, he is doing watch parties here in the We Can't Wrestle group and having some fun with that. I know tomorrow morning at 11, he's going to watch an episode of WCW Saturday Night from 1993. Depending on when that is in 93, it'll either be really good or really hard to get through. But I will definitely say you will have some fun watching those shows with Aaron. What was that, Kyle?
I'm saying I'm betting it's the latter.
Yeah. If it's late.
Anything from 93 in WCW is, it's not as bad as AWA, but
oof. All right. Archie Mitchell is here, and he says, I'm shirtless to counteract Kyle being sleeveless. Archie was with us also, and we all hope that Winter is doing good, Archie. I know she was giving you the business the other night when we were recording the show. And also, Brian McGraw is here and says, I'm digging the Chucky shirt.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start out with Raw.
Oh, God.
This was a tough show to get through.
This actually made me sad. It was like the first time, I think, in my fandom that I was like, oh my God, Steve, shut up. Never thought I would ever have that thought in my head.
Mm-hmm. And as usual, Kyle knows I was sitting there going, shut up, Saxton.
What? Can anybody explain to me what the fucking point of rating the segments was about? Like, what was that?
So we had an excuse for him to get in the ring to get a stunner.
Couldn't he just interrupt Austin? And why is he holding up?
It's like Archie said, Raw sucked. Move on. LOL.
If that WrestleMania is going to be, I may skip WrestleMania.
Or at least fast forward through it. Watch it later. It's still so the empty arena thing is still so awkward.
It played the Edge's promo though.
Yeah, and I have here my next note is Edge had an awesome promo on the show. Did you
hear that? Did you know that he actually, due to travel complications, he drove a total of 17 hours to get the Performance Center to do that promo.
Wow.
Dedication.
Yes, it is.
It's also Vince McMahon saying, I don't give a shit about it. I don't care what's going on.
Show goes on, pal.
Yeah, you get here and you get here now.
But yeah, Beth actually posted that he had travel complications and he was dedicated enough total drive time all around to do that promo with 17 hours of driving.
That is dedication. Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much. We appreciate it because you were the best thing of the show.
Sure as hell wasn't The Undertaker.
And we're getting there.
I never thought in a million years I'd be like, with The Undertaker, but
it was. And okay, so we'll just jump to that. I will say, I want to ask you guys a theory. or see if you think that I'm off base or whatever. So he kind of was American Badass Taker in this segment, okay? And my wonder is, are they doing that because now that we're doing the empty arena thing, is it because Undertaker long entrance will just be awkward, so this match will probably just start with AJ in the ring and Undertaker just coming out and starting to kick his ass, maybe?
Well, if you think about it, I said that before, like, when they first announced they were still going to do it and they're moving it to PC, I said the Undertaker entrance is just going to be like, right. And not only that, Performance Center, I mean, I think all of our driveways are longer than the rampway at that in that facility. So
I believe so.
I don't even know how they would do a typical WrestleMania Taker themed entrance on that tiny ass ramp.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. And like I said, I think that may be part of the reason why we're seeing kind of this version of Taker. Yes, Mark, which I hate it when they. I said that last week. I hate it when they do that shit, especially with him. But it was smart to play the Rumble match because then you've got a 3-hour show and you already know it's going to be. It's going to be some dog shit because it just falls so flat. You combine the way they book the main roster with the fact that there's no crowd, and it makes Raw even more monotonous.
This is going to sound really weird. Sorry. I miss Russo.
Bro, here's what we can do with this.
No, the reason I'm saying that, remember when Russo was around, he, as shit-tastic as it was, he did his damnedest that everybody had something.
Right.
Right now we have 300 plus employees with WWE, and only maybe 23 of them total on all brands have a storyline. The rest of them are just.
The sad part is the best time in WWF was when Vince Russo and Jim Cornette were there and they were going at each other.
Yeah,
because you would each other grounded.
Yeah, you're right. It was like yin and yang, keeping each other in check in a way. With Vince as an editor when he wasn't senile and insane.
Right.
You get what I'm saying though about it?
Yeah. He would.
Because all this dead time to fill out 3 hours when Russo is in charge, since everybody, even like the C team opening match guys, had some kind of story. They could have thrown them in there.
Even if it was a terrible story, it was a story nonetheless.
Something. It was not Ray versus Andrade for the 7,834th time. But we'll mix it up and have Asuka on commentary randomly. That way we don't notice it's the same match again.
So real quick with the Undertaker and everything, before we leave that, I'm betting right now that we're gonna have Undertaker. He's gonna come out as Mark, and AJ Styles is gonna beat him. And then come SummerSlam, it's going to be actual AJ Styles versus the Undertaker.
And that's a possibility because hopefully by SummerSlam, things are at least a little bit back to normal. Bryant Winters is here. Hello, Bryant. Archie and Brian, I will get to your comments about AEW when we get to that show. And I put here, did they think that the Asuka thing would actually work? Like, who said this will be good? And I love Asuka. Don't get me wrong. I do. I love Asuka. I love the...
I honestly think, like I said, it was to distract us that we're having this match again. I honestly think that's what it was.
And how distracting did that have to be to the guys in the ring?
Oh, look, I'm sure Vince's man was like, "Oh, let's put her out there. No one will understand her. It'll be great, pal. It'll be funny." Okay. Well,
it was funny,
right.
And he was hoping it was funny, distracting. You were, like I said, we didn't notice again.
Yep.
And personally, I think the most comical part was the Taker Styles thing. I think the best part was Gallows and Anderson. Like Carl, no, it's a match.
We're getting
that was
heart, but we're gonna get that Ray match on both nights of WrestleMania. Don't you Think for 1 second that we're getting that.
He's going to win the belt Saturday and have a rematch Sunday.
Yep.
Oh God,
Yeah.
what did I say?
I challenge you to a rematch.
Oh, it's happening.
I beat you. You beat me for the title at WrestleMania, but I challenge you for a rematch at WrestleMania. Wait, I got to point to the
it'll
sign.
Be a fatal 4-way Sunday night. That way we can have Humberto and Angel in there too. Because, the 4 Latinos must fight forever until the end of time.
Forever. It's kind of like Ahmed Johnson and the Nation of Domination. They had to be feuding forever.
Ironically, there's one of them in this feud that you can't really understand when they speak either. So it all makes sense.
At least with Ahmed Johnson in WWF, he was at least kind of cool. Like, you all remember when he showed up in WCW in 2000?
Oh,
Big T, and he carried around a gallon of milk.
He also carried around about 100 extra pounds too.
Have you seen him now?
No.
He looks like he ate Ahmed Johnson and Big T.
I was about to say he looks like Carl Winslow at this point.
No.
No, Carl Winslow's fit compared to him now.
Jesus.
Remember how everyone said he was puffy? He's puffed now.
P-U-F-T. He stay puffed.
So you're saying they put the Marshmallow Man in the microwave for a little bit?
Yeah, just a tad.
He went.
All right. So what do we think of Becky and Shayna? I can say it. Becky and Shayna.
I don't give a shit.
Are you liking? Or is anybody actually liking this feud? Because I thought I would, but I don't find that I am.
Oh, it's
because they're too busy trying to build Shayna when they didn't have to. They're trying to give her nuances that she didn't need.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, what was the whole "I'm a vampire pit bull" thing for?
Well, it's just like that. They're trying to give Becky Lynch this cocky attitude, and it's like, what are you guys doing?
I honestly think they're trying really too hard to have Steve give her the rub.
Yeah.
Like, way too hard.
I agree. And Bryant commented on that and said, "Meh." That's kind of how I feel about it. I was when I first heard this was going to happen, I was pretty excited about it, and I'm sure it's going to be a good match. They're both two really good wrestlers. Again, I always like to preface by saying when we talk about WWE main roster, the athletes these are probably the best athletes in the history of the business. It's not their fault.
Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be a good match or not. I think Vince McMahon's going to get his wet dream all Mania long because there's no fans to boo it. So no matter what happens, I think Shayna Baszler is going to tap Becky out within like 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
And who's to say that's not going to be a Saturday match? And how do we know they haven't figured out something with Ronda and Ronda shows up Sunday?
Well, see, and like you guys remember, I predicted that a few weeks back. I thought that this was going to wind up being a triple threat with Ronda involved. Archie says if Becky and Charlotte kissed in the ring, WrestleMania would be so good. I love the varying reactions to this. Good job, Mitchell.
It'd make it a hell of a lot more interesting than what's going to happen, but
I think we can just move on to AEW.
You got a bad taste in your mouth there, Chris?
I want Happy Waving Chris back.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, that's like...
And by the way, the whole rig thing, apparently that rig was supposed to be part of her WrestleMania gimmick entrance, and since that's not really a thing now, Vince was apparently like, God damn it, I paid money, we gotta use it, pal. Just drive to Raw.
God.
And just park it in the street for no reason.
Next to one of his old Enterprise rent-a-cars.
I'm still pissed off. I feel the most pity for Kerry Sane, honestly. Because Well, not now because they lucked out in the whole situation, but if I was her, I'd be pissed. WrestleMania in Tampa with this whole pirate team, and you took away my goddamn pirate gimmick.
Right.
I would have been a god. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this helium sucking giggly geisha now.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Ashley J. Smith says this year's WrestleMania is going to be the shits. Okay. I mean, I think we're all feeling that, Ashley.
It'll be the one, though, that we'll remember in 10 years from now. Be like, God, you remember when WrestleMania? It's going to be history-making. Not in a good way, but it's going to be history-making.
What one's going to be
I do like the shirt.
Or 9?
Yeah, the shirts.
More hate for 9. I like 9. Everybody's always like 9 sucks. I like 9. I think 9 is a good Mania.
Because
fun moments.
Because Hogan went out there and made it into a big old dome of 2-ply.
The Hogan stuff I agree because they just changed the rules of wrestling in both of his matches. I understand that. But that Mania has a great match between Tatanka and Shawn Michaels. It has an amazing tag match between the Steiners and the Head Shrinkers. It has Mr. Perfect carrying Luger to one of his best matches.
It has Bobby Heenan almost smacking an ostrich.
It has me actually like what I feel is one of the coolest Undertaker entrances, but in one of his worst matches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That poor man. They put him through so much shit in the early 90s. Who am I working with next? Fuck.
Him coming down with that vulture was just like awesome. It was like one of the very few times a daylight entrance for the Undertaker was cool.
They're like, who am I wrestling at Mania this year? An Argentinian basketball player. Good luck. So, okay.
I get a cool bird.
Yeah, we have a cool bird for you. You get a cool bird. Okay. AEW this week. See, my original thought when I watched it was AEW watched WWE, realized what they did wrong, and course corrected. Right. And then I saw WWE this week do the same thing they did last week, and I'm like, okay. So I like the idea of having the guys around the ring that added to it, and them letting them act rowdy and let them be wrestling characters. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Guys.
To me, I thought it was really cool how you start the show off with Cody Rhodes, and he's talking. He ties in everything that's going on right now with everything, and he ties it in with what's going on with him and the Elite and everything. It was great. I love Kenny Omega coming out. I know you're not a fan of him, but
I wrote down here, Kyle. I think another reason I liked this show was there was very little Kenny Omega in this show.
There was. But I like the fact that them sitting there saying, let's kick the lights on, let's set off the pyro, they didn't try to bullshit us.
Right.
Like, look, it wasn't like WWE where it was like, look, we're going to make it nice and prepackaged and everything and try to make it still look like Raw. The AEW is like, no, this is unprecedented time. We're not promising you there's going to be one next week.
Right. I liked the fact that through the night they kept saying on the next Dynamite. They didn't say next week. They kept saying on the next Dynamite. The production, whoever produced this show did a much better job than whoever has been producing the WWE shows. I assume Kevin Dunn. But yeah, they did, and maybe it is because the people that run this company are younger. Maybe they can grasp. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that run the WWE are a bunch of old guys now. It's Vince and Kevin Dunn, and they're all old and past their prime and over the hill, and just let Triple H take over. And maybe because Triple H of these WWE shows that have had no audience the past 2 weeks, Triple H has been the most entertaining thing about them.
Well, I think the problem is not just that, but it's also the fact that Vince doesn't have anybody there that he listens to.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, he had Pat, he had Briscoe and stuff. Now it's just like, well, no, it's my way or no way.
It's yes men.
Yep, I think in AEW,
and I think honestly,
like Jericho, you have guys like.
I wasn't trying to cut you off, but on that thought you said, I think honestly, if you watch Raw, you realize that Paul Heyman has now got to the point in his life where he just wants to make a bunch of money. I don't think Paul Heyman fights with the McMahons like he used to. He's just, okay, awesome. I'm in this, I'm making it. And that's fine. I mean, I don't begrudge him. God bless him.
It's also, how many times has that man been fired because he's fought against Vince? Like, he never changes his mind. He just gets fired.
I think Paul is to the point he's just choosing what he fights for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mainly Brock Lesnar. So, yes, I did like the first segment of the show. We got Taz. I still keep saying get rid of Excalibur. We got Taz, but they still had to have Excalibur. But whatever.
I wrote that down. I was like, they'll be half happy. And again, the name cards on AEW this week were gold. Whoever does the name cards, like Brandy's, said she would never ring announce again. The great thing is, if you watch it, it's like she knew the name plate was on the screen, because as soon as you read it, she looked at the screen and was like, and Orange Cassidy's when he came out, his nameplate just said whatever.
Should have had that little emoji. Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed when Page came out, his actually said Adam Washan Page.
I did see that. Yeah, I did notice that one.
And the one above it said social distancing since November.
I will say something about Hangman Page. When he came out, and they were like, look, we've had our differences. We need to know, are you a part of our team? And Adam Page just sits there with his drink and tips it. Like, that was perfect. He didn't need to go on a 2-minute tirade of why he's,
Yeah.
That's all it needed. That's all he needed was just that right there was enough. It's like, well, I guess he's a part of the team, but still. Just
a couple of comments from earlier. Archie had commented AEW knew how to work the empty arena, and Brian McGraw, he said the opening of AEW was so real it made my hair stand up because it felt real.
It did.
And that's true.
It did.
And even like the mess up, I don't know if you guys caught it when you were watching it, but you actually heard production right when they went on live. You actually heard production say Q Cody.
I didn't catch that, but
you actually heard production, but it made it even more real to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like that to the point. I was like, did they do that on purpose?
They may have. I mean,
it was such a good thing and such a raw feeling for that show. You almost felt like, did they actually slip that Q Cody on purpose?
Right.
That's the thing that I've enjoyed about AEW is that they don't fucking hold your hand.
No.
They don't hold your hand. They don't have to shove it down your throat. It's,
And like I said, and we'll talk about the show more in detail here, but I will say, much like I said last week and the week before, I know at the beginning of this, I was not liking this product. But they are quickly adjusting and figuring out, and it's fun to watch it grow into something good, because I wanted it to succeed, and then I was like, fuck, this is what we're getting. Clown show wrestling, clown shoe wrestling, stupid indie bullshit, fake ass. And then now, and there are a couple of things on the show now that I bitch about, but that's every show. Yeah. There are things that I think, oh God, like we'll get to the dork order here in a little bit, but okay. I put down that the people, like we discussed, the people around the ringside really helped out. So then we have a 6-man tag. And again, watching the match, it wasn't awkward because you at least had. No,
it was a normal tag. Orange Cassidy was on commentary.
Sorry, the other one was the other one was a 6-man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
but watching the match, it didn't feel awkward like the WWE shows do, because at least you had the guys outside the ring reacting to stuff. And
MJF, god damn it. No mask, guys.
Just real quick, can we talk about just how great MJF is? I know that everyone does, but it's a perfect example right here, right now, about how when you just let him be who he can be, you have a star. I mean, this time last year, no one knew who MJF was, and now he is the biggest heel in pro wrestling.
Yes. And to me, he is, like I've said a number of times, him and Aldis are 1A and 1B for me right now, as far as heels in the business go. He is... I don't even know who to compare him to, in a way. He's almost, in wrestling, we do this thing where we go, Adam Cole's like the new Shawn Michaels or whatever. MJF is the first MJF. Like, there is... he's as unique as Ric Flair was when Ric Flair became Ric Flair. You know what I mean? I don't even have anybody to compare him to from the past. He's that fucking good.
He has taken parts from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see Flair in there. You see
a little Jericho.
Jericho in there. You see like old snobby glittery coat curtsy Triple H in there. You see like me, even I see some Mr. Perfect in there, because just he pulls the arrogance thing from every amazing previous arrogant heel. It's like he took massive notes on what made it work for every previous and put that shit in a blender and made himself.
And absolutely, because I've even heard Cornette talked about when Cornette was doing that little stint with MLW. He said that he'd go into the locker room, and he always likes to talk about how wrestlers nowadays don't party or anything. They all just sit around the locker room on their cell phones. And he said that all those guys were just sitting around on their cell phones and what have you. But MJF was the guy that was coming up to Jim fucking Cornette. And he's like, he bent my ear as much as he possibly could when he had me at his disposal. He wanted to learn how to be a wrestling heel. He's old school. It's almost like they say about Cena. He's an old soul, I guess, because the veterans always say that about Cena. He's like one of the old timers, when he's not on TV and stuff. And he wanted to learn from all the veterans he worked with. And MJF apparently has that quality as well.
You know what I love the most about MJF?
Ashley says MJF is the kosher Ric Flair we deserve. Good one, Ashley. That's a good one. I like that.
The thing I love about MJF the most, name me one fucking redeemable quality about MJF.
Exactly. He's a piece of shit.
Exactly. Want to see him get his ass kicked. He's not a cool fucking heel. He's not, oh, he's edgy. No, he's a piece of shit. The guy flips off little kids. I mean, he's a piece of shit. And I love that, because then I get invested in it. He's like Piper.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Piper. Piper was the guy that he just fucking made you hate him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was one show that when they were doing picture-in-picture when he was coming to the ring, there was an MJF fan that had an MJF scarf, and he took it and did the whole crotch dry and threw it back at the guy. His own merchandise with the fan of his own, and he still shit on him. And I'm like, this guy is gold.
Yep.
Let's see. Wesley Kimbler says, Nate, what's up, bro? Hey, Wesley, welcome to the show. We Can't Wrestle Live. We're talking about MJF. We're talking about AEW's show this week.
And
all
Chuck
right,
Taylor
so
said dick.
What's that?
Chuck Taylor actually referred to the crotch as dick. Like when he was like, you want to kick him in the dick? I was like, whoa. Whoa. You actually called it what? Wow. That's okay.
Holy Moses.
And I love Trent doing the whole, we're going to have a street fight. but with an actual street. And then pauses like, or parking lot.
They're all making the best of a bad situation in that company, and that's evident. I still think their women's division's garbage, though. I am not a fan of AEW's women's division. No. There are a few that I like. I'm not saying there aren't a few that I like, but I'm not a fan of their women's division.
I thought Statlander made them all look bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think this time around, the defections that would matter the most to AEW is the women's division. Can you imagine if Sasha Banks went over there, or Bayley, or God?
AEW might use Bayley properly.
Well, I mean, just think about it. We're in an age now where, like, if Bayley and Sasha Banks went over, it could be like the Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, holy shit, these guys were big, you know.
Yeah, something to that effect. Something's got to happen because I just, like I said, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of their women's division. I'm becoming less and less a fan of the WWE's women's division, to be honest with you. But
I'm giving AEW time just because, I mean, they're trying so much different stuff to, you know, get their feet up off the ground. Maybe in 6 months it'll get better once.
Right.
Like I actually wrote down like Riho, and they're bringing up her 133-day reign, and I was like, she was never there. And then I was like, to me, Riho is like, let's make Marco Stunt an Asian female. Same believability.
Riho is. I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm not. It's funny because I guess in stature you'd say she's very similar to Kairi Sane, but Kairi Sane is so much more talented that. I mean,
Kairi Sane doesn't look like she's going to blow away if someone belches too hard.
I think the other problem with the women's division is that they need some more talent in there that it can actually work. They can bring the best out of some of these women. That's the problem. It's like, you know, I don't care who you are. Even Bret Hart, if he's going up against the fucking Goon every week, you know, there's only so good that Bret Hart can make himself look when he's facing like the Goon or Duke the Dumpster Drowsy. I mean, good Lord.
Duke the Dumpster made me drowsy.
Yeah.
Duke Drowsy's actually a really cool guy, by the way. I'm not hating. He is. He's actually. I've got to meet him a couple of times. He's a cool dude.
I bet he is.
And he's overcome drug addiction, and he's like a drug counselor and stuff. Like he's one of those happy stories in wrestling, like Regal. He hit rock bottom, and now he's come back up and is doing good in the world. So I didn't mean to hate on you, Duke Drowsy. It's just comedy, friend.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't go the way of Jake Roberts.
Fuck Jake Roberts. We'll get to that, though. Dave DeRozier, what's up? He says, what's up, fellas? Ashley says, Kairi Sane has more meat on her. Riho is iffy at best. So, yeah, kind of what Chris was saying there, kind of echoing that sentiment. All right, so now we're on to the Dork Order segment. And
No,
that's... I must have skipped something. What did I skip?
Well, I just want to point out they had the Moxley promo thing from earlier. I love the fact they still have him driving the car that the Inner Circle gave him. Yeah. I was like, thank you, continuity. But you had the Butcher and Blade versus Jurassic Express.
I did not write that down. That's weird. Okay. Usually I at least write down the match to remember to discuss it, even if I don't have any thoughts on it. But good match.
Yeah.
Butcher and Blade are better than I expected them to be. They really are.
I liked Braxton when he was in TNA. I didn't think that he was used properly then. Like you could tell by watching him that he had something, but they just didn't do anything with him. Mm-hmm. He was almost like a Mark Merrow light.
Oof.
Because he was all like stupid psychoprotective over Alley. So he was like Mark Merrow light in TNA. So, I mean, they didn't give him a proper shake, and now he's actually getting one. And like I told you before, Butcher is the guitarist from a rock band.
Yeah.
That got his shot, and they're doing great. And like this one was another great showing to show Jungle Boy is a tough bastard. Like they're doing really great with that.
I mean, if Jurassic Express, if they would just drop the Make-A-Wish kid off of that act, I would. That's the only thing I don't like about that act is that he's in that. Other than that, I really like those guys.
And MJF chiming in again during this match when Luchasaurus went to do that power move. Did you hear MJF? What the hell is he? A Power Ranger? I was like, God damn it.
You Maxwell J. Friedman. So now do I get to talk about the Dork Order?
Yeah, and the only other little thing I want to add, when they did the picture-in-picture and they were showing MJF and Spears and everything drinking ringside, and Spears held up the bottle, I was like, why did you not have a little bit of the bubbly? That would have been a great time for a product plug.
By the way, just a side note, this whole trade thing the whole coronavirus thing is hurting production on things that are made in China. I have a couple of things from Ringside Collectibles that are now on delay until like June because they can't get them. I hope to God, my little bit of the bubbly Jericho action figure set that I purchased, pre-ordered, is not postponed by COVID-19, or it will be the biggest heel ever. Just for the record. All right, so I am excited. I have said this since I found out that he was leaving WWE because I was a huge fan of Brody Lee before he went to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I was a huge fan of the Wyatt family. And then after that, I don't think that... Okay, let me put it this way. I don't think necessarily that he was misused in WWE. I think he just was a victim of WWE booking. They tried. It seemed like they always tried to do something with him, even if it wasn't great. I mean, the Bludgeon Brothers was cool. The Wyatt family was cool, but I'm glad to see him get a shake here in AEW to be himself. And I loved the dig that he took at Vince.
Oh,
did you catch that, Kyle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. You're not the first out-of-touch old man to not believe in me.
Yes.
I'm conflicted. Me and Kyle were talking about this. I'm conflicted.
I am too, but probably for a different reason than you.
I'm conflicted because, like you, I love Brody Lee.
Mm-hmm.
But my concern is, does he have enough momentum to put him with a gimmick and faction that people are already not giving a shit about? Does he have enough power to pull that out?
We agree. Because my thing is, the way this goes is he pulls them up or they pull him down because they suck. And, I mean, if he can pull them up and they can just be kind of an incendiary act around him, then this has a chance. But I would prefer that he just didn't. I would prefer he came out next week, told them all they were losers, and then bring out a couple of guys that I want to be with him. You know what I mean? I mean the whole thing's just been so silly that hopefully his talent can bring some what do I say? Bring some credibility and some decency to this act, because I don't want it to bring him down.
Exactly. But him to be with Jake.
Him, yeah. Him versus Christopher Daniels will be fantastic, though. Yeah. That's gonna be good to watch. Wesley says he saw Brody right before he went to FCW NXT at Prime Wrestling Ohio. I remember that show. I think it's out of Cleveland. Is it out of Cleveland, Wesley? Let me know. But anyway, go ahead, guys.
There's a few things I did like about this. I like the fact that they let him talk. Because there's those fans who don't know who Brody Lee is. They just know him as Luke Harper. So for him to come out and talk in the elegant way that Brody Lee talks was perfect, because those fans who are going to tune in or did tune in, like, well, that's Luke Harper. Now he's Brody Lee. Wow, he can actually talk. He's, intelligent. He's not.
All you ever got to hear him say in WWE was, yeah.
I like the fact that he wore something kind of resembling Matt Hardy. at first, so you kind of thought it was Matt Hardy at first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Okay.
That's all I liked about it.
Letting him dye his beard helped a lot too, because he looks so much younger now.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the darker hair, darker beard look on him anyway. I mean, it makes him look a lot more menacing, and then, I'm very excited to see what he can do in an environment where he doesn't have the shackles on.
Right.
Okay, so I want to talk.
What happens with the Dark Order? It's great to see him there.
Yeah. So Jake's promo was great, but he's still a piece of shit. I just have to throw that in every time because Jake Roberts is one of those figures to me that I love the character Jake Roberts, but I am disgusted by the human being Jake Roberts. And it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to separate that. So I have to watch him and go, oh my God, what a great promo. Look at the psychology. He's so great. And I'm like, fucking piece of shit, abandon your family. Fucking.
It's like anybody that you watch, whether it's Dynamite Kid, whether it's Benoit. I mean, at some point, you have to separate, fact from fiction.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? It's Steve Austin's a wife beater. Let's be honest. I mean, you have to separate the art from the person, I guess. I mean, but anyway, what did you guys think of Jake's promo? I like Archer with him, but like you said, Chris, I'd have rather seen Brody Lee with him. I think they would have fit better together.
I think I agree that they would fit better, but I think that Archer needs Jake Roberts more
to be the talker.
Yeah, exactly, and to kind of help bring him up a little bit into, because let's face it, like I said, he's been in TNA for the longest time. He didn't have the greatest WWE run,
right?
But you stick him with Jake, who is arguably one of the best talkers, one of the best minds for the business. Not only does it help him, find himself, but also it helps bring him up to that level.
Right.
I'm just a smartass, and I was like, Archer's hair and Cody's neck, it's going to be a very distracting match.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True. So, all right. So then I'm gonna be honest with everybody out there. Last night I was watching this, and I had to produce the Asylum Wrestling podcast, which is another show that I produce for the guys in the Asylum. So the rest of AEW, thank you, Kyle. The rest of AEW I watched on mute.
Oh.
So I did not get to hear. I had to pack a lot in because work was busy this week. So
commentary.
I did miss it. So I want you guys to talk about that. Yes, I had to. There's only so many fucking hours in the day. You know how many shows I make? I put out We Can't Wrestle Today, The Asylum, A Motley Soup, and I'm doing this.
I'd give you a cookie, but I'm not allowed to leave my house.
I'll just keep that roll. I'll just keep that roll of toilet paper. It's cool.
You can mail him a cookie.
So, from what I understand, Jericho was fantastic. Of course.
Put it this way, as soon as Cody and crew came out, Jericho was like, here comes Arn Anderson with this Waffle House menu. As soon as he said that, JR popped, and Jericho called him out. I was like, oh, you already popped on that, JR. You're in trouble. And then he's talking about Cody. He's like, Cody with that ridiculous neck tattoo looked like something Excalibur drew when he was a 5-year-old of finger paints.
Jesus.
Taz started laughing, and Jericho was like, oh, you're already done with Taz. You already popped for that one.
Jericho reminding us why he's the greatest of all time.
Just non-stop.
I love the fact that this match was to determine who gets to go first, or gets the two-man advantage in Blood and Guts.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like all great pro wrestling, the heels won. Because that's how War Games matches.
Yeah.
How it always goes, is that the heels always have the advantage.
I'm just interested to see how they're going to play this because Tony Khan actually came out and said Blood and Guts is postponed.
And that's probably for the best. That's probably for the
he
best.
Even said, he was like, the time isn't right. This is something that, like, he pretty much, the vibe I got from what he said, he personally feels it's something that the fans deserve to see firsthand.
Well, and not to mention, if the guys are going to go out, do spots off of a cage, bust themselves open, because you know this is all going to happen, they need to be doing it. They don't need to be doing it at an empty arena. You know, and I know the fans. I know that it's for the fans at home too. But you know what I'm saying. Like they should be getting a gate receipt for that. They should be getting, you know, if they're going to go out and do that hard work, I definitely agree with postponing it. Yes, absolutely.
And the great thing is they don't have to sit there and say, "Oh, hey, you know, we got WrestleMania coming up, so we got to do it then." No, they can, you know, they have the luxury to be like, we can postpone it for a month or two.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, what I wrote down, given it was the Elite and the Bucks and everything else, it wasn't an overbooked match.
No, and really, it
wasn't really a spot fest. It was actually a really good, solid match, and it was almost to the point. It was one of those moments where I got pissed off again because I look at the Bucks and I'm like, "You can wrestle." Stop being spot monkeys.
And they can wrestle. And they again, it was so nice to see an entire show where I didn't have to watch Omega clown off in the ring. But Cody, Matt Buck, and the Hangman like I said, I was watching the match. I was able to watch the match. I just didn't hear any of the audio, but the match I thought was a good match. And it was almost like
hear the end of promo either.
No.
Oh
no. Look at you two. They're so disappointed. Well,
because after the match, Jericho's like jumping up. He's like, "I told you. I knew we were going to win." And when they're doing the replays, he's like, "You see that, Dustin Rhodes? You see that, you stupid idiot? Hey, you see that one? I told you were going to win." And when he got up on the stage and you see him like doing the counting thing, he was like, "I told you we were going to win." And there's reasons. One, because we're the inner circle. Two, because we always have beaten you guys. We've never fought with each other. And three, I'm making the decision right now. From now on, I am banning all fans from any show until further notice because we don't need any pumpkin-headed dipshits chanting Cody or Young Bucks.
Again, making the best of a bad situation.
And then they have
and four, because there's more of us.
he goes through everybody. He has Jack Hager. He gets down, does the push-ups, and then
Guevara.
Yeah, goes down to do it. Jack Hager's like, "Get up here, you idiot!"
And then, of course, the drone and Matt Hardy. Once again, much like with Brody Lee, it's going to be good.
My heart.
Why is that?
Brody, Matt Hardy, the arena.
Yeah.
It worked better though.
Think about the reaction would have happened to that arena the second they seen Vanguard 1 coming down.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait, hold on a second. Go ahead. I'm going to take a look at some here.
I think it worked better for Matt Hardy.
For Matt, yeah, because it wouldn't have had the same effect because people would have seen Vanguard early before everybody else.
Yeah.
But they even said, but the thing is, they actually, I guess, Matt was on Talk as Jericho, and he actually said because of the quarantine, they did it this way. Because where it was originally supposed to happen, drones aren't allowed indoors by regulations where it was originally going to be, so that wouldn't have happened. So, I mean, if you think about it, and there would have been a crowd, there wouldn't have been Vanguard 1, and you would have went directly to the mat on that balcony like that.
Yep.
I was trying
to imagine the reaction of just the spotlight just bing.
I have
arena going apeshit.
I have a Vanguard 1 thing that That's what I was looking for. I don't know what fucking shelf it's on. Whatever.
But I gotta say, Jericho, the look on his face, where he's almost in tears, and he just mouths Matt fucking Hardy, like he looked distraught, like, oh shit.
Wesley says, "Have you listened to the Talk Is Jericho podcast?" No, I have not, Wesley. I don't know. I have not listened to that this week. I don't know who was on it. All right.
Matt Hardy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
nope, I haven't heard that.
And we'll end AEW on a sad note. They announced for next week Cody's going to be facing Jimmy Havoc. Yeah. I like the way all three screens had a collective. We're all like, AEW was great. I
can walk about 2 blocks from my house and see a guy that looks like Jimmy Havoc. I'm good on it. I don't need to. Jesus Christ, crackhead. All right.
Well,
so let's roll on. We have 10 minutes, and it won't take that long to SmackDown, which I watched about. I don't know. I finished watching it about 20 minutes before we started the show. So here we go. I want to start with this. I want to start with this. And Chris,
what are we talking about?
SmackDown.
Okay.
Chris, have you read any spoilers or any of the reports or anything, Kyle?
No.
Okay, so listen to this. I wrote in the first segment of SmackDown, I don't know how they could have crammed in everything I hate into one segment, because Mojo Rawley is annoying, Rob Gronkowski is annoying, and then they bring out King Corbin. And even my wife Kendall was like, "Oh God, I'm sure you hate this right now." It was like, this is fucking awful. Even Elias couldn't make it better. It was terrible.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Between the way Gronk was acting and Riho and Marco Stunt, can we just stop with the Make-A-Wish people in professional wrestling at this point?
Please.
I mean, they're all infringing on John Cena's turf. I mean, just let the Make-A-Wish thing go away for a little bit. We're good. Gronkowski coming out like he's in, this is going to sound so mean, but in like some really bad Olympic dance-off.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like he was an extra in The Ringer.
Who the hell is Rob Gronkowski?
He was a football player.
Okay. Why are they making it seem like he's the second coming?
Because he's
the Patriot.
Because he's the football player they have under contract.
Okay, I'll say, did he do anything special? Did he?
No, and he didn't do anything special on this show either. And if he's hosting WrestleMania, it's going to be even worse than we think it is going to be. Because if this clown shoe is going to be on that much time of wrestling, like, please God, just let him do let him do like Kim Kardashian did at 24. Just, we see him do a couple interviews, he says some stupid shit, and you move on. But I don't think it will be, because he's going to be a wrestler, so they're going to try to push him down our throats.
Oh, good. So he's going to wrestle, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So let me ask this.
They're already calling him...
sarcasm.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
What the...
Woosah.
I'm telling you what, I'm about done with WWE. At least AEW doesn't have fucking Rob Groden, whatever the hell his name is.
There are weeks, honest to God,
Rob Crotch
Gronkowski. Or you can just call him, as they do, the Gronk.
Oh,
anyway.
Call him the Gronk. Ever.
And they're going to put him with Mojo, because if you notice, the font they're using for his name is Mojo's old Stay Hype font.
Yeah, and I hate Raleigh too. So,
yep.
Raleigh, I feel bad for, because like I feel that he's got the ambition and the desire to do something,
but he's terrible.
Well, I don't know if he's terrible or not, because he wasn't bad when he was Zach, but they just don't know what to do with him.
Right. Yeah, I just can't even. Anyway, the tag match, they had a tag match, Bryan and Gulak against Cesaro and Shinsuke, which was a decent tag match, but I wrote still awkward because there's no audience. It's just like Chris
We're
said
still
last
doing
week.
the fucking entrance holograms too. Why?
Yes, why? It's
Why
like
did
Chris
they
said.
do the ceiling Nakamura hologram?
It's like Chris said last week too. These shows seem like it's like the run through they're doing before they do the show later on that night. It's just really awkward. The Bailey Page segment was stupid, and here's why. Apparently in WWE now there are no authority figures, and whoever wants to book something just books whatever they want to book anytime they. I know she said I got permission from the Fox executives, but there's no authority in WWE now. If you watch Raw, you watch SmackDown, people just come out and go, I want to have a match with you. Okay, let's have a match. And then later on, we just have magically TV time for these guys to have this match. There's no authority figure making anything happen.
Not only that, I didn't know Fox had say on WrestleMania.
Right.
I thought they said we were the ones who were the fans were the
No,
the
you were just
matchmakers.
high. You were high.
And
No, you heard wrong. You heard wrong, Kyle. They said once in a while we'll put a finger in your butt. We're the WWE. I'm
still waiting for the finger in my butt.
So they're gonna have They're going to have a 6-pack challenge at Mania with Bayley defending against 6 other women, one of which is Sasha. 5 other women. It's not a 7-pack challenge, Nate. Do your math right.
Do a 7-pack to get through
it. Sasha, of course, is going to be one of the challengers, so there's your twist. He's a twist.
I do appreciate Bayley, though. Like, she's... Give me a second. I am...
Well, he's looking at it. But is it a twist?
No,
if you see it coming?
Fair point.
I did like the way they were doing it, though, because she was like Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, and then Bailey's like, oh, so does Tamina even work here anymore? What? Or does Dana even work here anymore? How about just Tamina? Okay, fine, Tamina too.
Yeah.
So she just kept adding people, but Bailey is actually like healing it up on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen this. This is like the greatest thing. Eva Marie, because she does the whole fitness thing. On her Twitter, she had just done like some fitness video with some push-up regimen, and Bailey tweeted back at her, "Hey, you want another title shot? Paige is handing them out like candy on Halloween."
That is funny.
And I'm like, finally, Bailey's being a heel.
How about that?
Since we just have a couple of minutes here, I'll just say this really quick. Ms. and Morrison's segment was annoying.
No, it was funny. We are biking.
It was annoying. And then Roman and Goldberg, it was fine. I mean, that's all I can say. It was fine. I don't know. And Chris is giving me the quizzical look. I just thought if you're going to have those two guys and you're going to do what you're going to do, for what it was fine. They're just acting like two competitors competing and trash talking each other, and I'm okay with it because
I guess my issue was we're doing another contract signing. We just had one on Monday, and then when Roman came out, they had to throw up on the screen to bring up his cancer again to play that card. And then apparently we're going to fuel the discontent and competitiveness over a 2-month-old snarky tweet. Really? This is what we're going to build it on. You called me stupid because I headbutt doors. I'm going to kick your ass now.
Okay, let me put it through this. For WWE booking, it wasn't bad. Both guys brought the intensity properly, and I mean, like I said, I thought it was decent. It wasn't anything I'll remember in 6 years or anything. But this is the match we're getting, so this is what we're gonna get.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Why? When there's no fans in the arena, are you doing a contract signing in the middle of the ring? Why not have it backstage?
Good shit, pal.
But there's nobody there to see it. Michael
Cole's there.
But they can see it on the on their monitors. Why not just have it in the back? Why? It makes no. They just look stupid. See, the problem is the WWE is doing things that heighten and doesn't mask the fact that there's nobody in the audience. So it just
Right.
comes off as looking, I hate to say the word fake, but fake.
It does. It's fake looking.
And jump back to Ms. Morrison and Heavy Machinery real quick. Did you notice Otis's voice change when he snapped?
Yes.
You don't know me. I was like, what the hell was that?
Oh, no, please don't. They're not going to do that.
Dolph came out and pissed him off to where he snapped and literally beat the living shit out of Ms. Morrison. And he just snapped at whatever he was bouncing their head off the commentator. They was like, you don't know me. And I was like, okay.
Don't ruin Otis, you fuckers. We need to start the DRO movement.
We need an Otis soundboard.
We need to start the DRO movement. Don't ruin Otis. That's the new chant. All right, well, Chris, any final parting thoughts for our viewers here tonight?
I just don't understand how SmackDown was live. I know they're keeping an eye on AEW. They've seen how AEW improved on what they did, and they apparently just watched it and took no notes and gave us the exact same shit on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Kyle, any parting thoughts?
Just as we go into this next week, there's a lot of uncertainties. Be kind to each other. Be kind to those who work in retail. It's not their fault they don't have toilet paper.
Yeah, it sure the fuck isn't.
They're out there and they're dealing with all of us. Just show a little bit of kindness to them.
Yes, and be nice to the law enforcement that is going to have to enforce whatever goofy shit is going on. Again, like Kyle said, with retail workers, they're just doing their job. Mm-hmm. And just like you said, be kind. Let's take care of each other. Stop buying all the bread and the toilet paper because fucking old people need it too. Assholes. All right, well, we're going to sign off here. Thank you all for joining us on We Can't Wrestle Live this week. It's been a blast, guys. Thank you both for joining me. And we'll see you next week with hopefully, well, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's crazy out there.